Patty? Good evening and welcome to the Common Council meeting, August 30th, 2011. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Riley?
Here.
Anderson?
Present.
Jarvis? Lottie?
Here.
Fowler?
Here.
Hanson?
Present.
Sedlacek?
Here.
Fernsler?
Let the record show we have a quorum. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's the old one. Charlie wanted to hurry. Thank you and good evening, everyone. We appreciate you tuning in at home and those in the audience this evening. Next order of business is the acceptance of the minutes of the regular meeting held August 9th, 2011. Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 4 is the audience portion where we ask the audience to sign in ahead of time and address the council. This is where you get to talk and we get to listen. And tonight we have two people who signed up. First one is Bill Emig. Bill?
I just wanted to make sure that the city council and the people of Plymouth knew that because of Labor Day, garbage will be delayed one day next week. So bear that in mind when you're doing your garbage. It'll be delayed a day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bill. And the second person to sign up tonight is Pete Trierman. Pete?
Good evening. I just wanted to take this opportunity because you're all assembled here just to pass on that property that was recently transferred to Mr. Putz, 615 East Main Street. He's really been working hard at it. He's done some demolition work and some cleanup that's very evident on the outside. The inside's probably about 70 or 80% demolished to where he's going to have it, to where he can start turning it back around. He's headed in the right direction. It's going to turn out really nice.
Thank you very much, Pete. Next item on the agenda is a proclamation for POW MIA Recognition Week. I think I'll ask the clerk to read the proclamation, and then the chair will entertain a motion to approve. And then we have in the audience this evening some American Legion members, and I'll ask someone to come forward and accept the proclamation, and if they want to, they can make a statement, which we would appreciate. Clerk Huberty?
Whereas, since its founding in the United States has fought in numerous wars and military actions, and tens of thousands of Americans, including a great many from Wisconsin, who were captured or were missing in action. And whereas many American prisoners of war were subjected to brutal and inhumane treatment by their enemy captors in violation of international codes and customs for the treatment of prisoners of war, and many such prisoners of war died in captivity. And whereas the people of the city of Plymouth recognize that its sacrifices of all American prisoners of war and those who are still missing in action and their families are deserving of a special tribute. Now therefore be it resolved that Donald Pullman, Mayor of the City of Plymouth, proclaims the week of September 11th through September 17th, 2011 as POW MIA Recognition Week in the City of Plymouth, and calls upon all citizens of our city to join him in observing this week with appropriate remembrance and activities.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the proclamation as read.
So moved. Second, Alder Hanson.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. This evening we have with us Jim Rimfire. We all know you in Brimfire. Now so does the audience. We appreciate you and your efforts on behalf of the American Legion putting this program together every year, and we're very proud to make the proclamation. So thank you very much, and a few words, please. Very few.
Thank you, Mayor Pullman and members of the Common Council.
See, it works.
A year ago, when I did research for this project, there were 1,701 unaccounted for troops from the war in Vietnam. This year, there are 1,693. More than 16 million served in uniform in World War II. More than 400,000 died, and at war's end, 79,000 remained unaccounted for. That 79,000 number has been reduced to 73,000, albeit it took 60 years to achieve that number. Just recently, the Joint Accounting Command announced that they have located, identified, and recovered the 12 crew members of a B-24 bomber that went down in 1943 in New Guinea. It's a long and tireless effort. The flag that will be placed above City Hall on the morning of July 11th is the black and white National League of Families Prisoner of War Missing in Action flag. It's a powerful flag that sends a powerful message. It's the only flag other than the flag of the United States of America ever to fly over the White House. It is the only flag other than the flag of the United States of America to ever be on display in the rotunda of the White House. Both of these events symbolic of our nation's desire to achieve a full and final accounting of all of those who remain unaccounted for. On behalf of myself, members of the veterans organizations in our community, and the families of those unaccounted for, thank you, Mayor Pullman, thank you, members of the Common Council, for allowing us to make this presentation.
Thank you very much, Jim, and we certainly appreciate all the service of our veterans in our community to our nation and the time and effort that they have given in service and protecting us. We appreciate that very much. Moving on, item 6, ordinance. An ordinance creating section 2-4-9 (C), Library Board additional members of the Municipal Code of the City of Plymouth, Wisconsin. This is ordinance number 17, the first presentation. We will stipulate that it is on file in the clerk's office and on the city website, and I think I'll ask Clerk Huberty to summarize this for us. And also we have our library director, Martha Roshi, here tonight, and I think I would like her to comment on it too. This is something brand new for the city of Plymouth, and a little background I think would help us out. So with that,
I guess I'll just pipe in
Director.
here for a minute. The library director's here for more specific questions, but basically, if funding from the county is equal to or greater than 1/6 of the library budget, then the county has the ability to have appointments to our library board. In the past, the county has not elected to have that. They have now requested to have that ability to make an appointment. I believe the library director is aware of who the appointment is going to be, but as a result of the request of the county, we need to amend our ordinance to allow the county to make their appointments. So it's just an expansion.
technicality.
Yeah, it's just an expansion of our existing library ordinance section.
okay, thank you. Did you want to add anything to that at all?
Summarized it.
Okay, good. Thank you. This is the first reading. We can, if we so desire, waive the second reading and implement it if it's the council's desire to do that.
I would so move, Mayor.
Second.
We have a first and a second to waive the traditional second reading and have a motion on the floor to approve it this time. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Item 7, resolutions. A resolution awarding the sale of $2,080,000 taxable general obligation corporate purpose bond series 2011. This is resolution number 20. I think we'll have Director Yurgis and Phil Cawson, Phil, to go right to Phil and give us the background on this and the information on it, and then we'll entertain a motion to approve and then discussion. So good evening, Phil. Welcome to the city of Plymouth again. Have you moved into the city limits yet? Are you a citizen yet?
Making my way.
Soon you're working your way. Seems like you're here all the time.
I know
Please.
the roads. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Well, I come with very good news again tonight. Maybe just a little quick refresher of how we got here. If you recall, we're working on this issue for about the last year. It was derailed for a short time as a result of negotiations with DFA and some information that was required out of the state of Wisconsin as well. So we brought this back once those issues were resolved, and I think the time served you well, actually. Sometimes it works that way. After last meeting where you authorized the sale, we have taken care of a few issues. One, again, working very closely with city staff, we prepared this official statement, and you should all have received this at your home. That we use to sell the bonds like we have always done in the past. Once again, we've conducted a public sale, meaning we have invited all of the underwriting world that we deal with nationally to participate, and then we also sent this official statement to all of the local financial institutions so that they had an opportunity to bid as well if they chose to. Another item that we took care of was we had a rating call last week, and that rating call went very well. I think it was a good opportunity. We had a new individual from Moody's that conducted the call. It was also the first call for Director Yurgis as in his role. So we spent quite a bit of time. The normal call is usually about an hour. We exceeded that quite a bit to get through all the information we wanted to, and I think it was very useful because there was also a few open-ended items in my eyes that needed to be kind of better explained. And again, Director Yurgis had an opportunity to go through some of those things, such as the city's fund balance, the undesignated fund balance, what makes up that fund balance, and then also going through some of the nuances of what's happening in with the city health insurance and such. So there was a good opportunity to go through all that with Moody's, and I think they have a pretty good base understanding of that now. In the past, that may not have been quite as clear. So that occurred last week as well. So at 10 o'clock today, we took bids, and I handed out two documents. Final resolution prepared by Quarles and Brady replaces the draft that you had in your packet. The difference, again, is we have the final rates, the winning bidder, those kind of issues. And then the sale packet, which I want to go through with you, again, like I have done in the past. The first couple of pages in the packet, as always, we have included the rating report, and the rating report came out of information that was provided by the city to Moody's, and then they prepare this report after the call. It's been reviewed again by staff and by myself for accuracy. The high point here, I guess, is they have affirmed your rating at a AA3. Maybe a reminder of what that means. And you can go from the B scale rating and then up to the A scale, and then there's nuances within the A scale, A3, A2, A1, and then you go up to the AA scale, A3, A2, A1, and then your AAA after that. So you're on the lower end of the AA scale, which is really an excellent rating. What they've identified is very similar to what you've seen in the past in this report. Modestly sized and growing city located near Sheboygan. We spent quite a bit of time talking about what's happening at DFA, what's happening at Masters Gallery, what's happened with Sargento, what's happening with a lot of the local industries, and spent a great deal of time walking through that with them so they had a good understanding of what's happening in the local economy. Satisfactory financial operations despite narrow reserve levels. That's pretty much a reflection of how this was laid out for Moody's versus how it was laid out in the past. And we wanted to narrow this down to what is the truly undesignated funds, funds that are not, being allocated for other purposes. And so that in their eyes, that has a smaller reserve than what they have reported in the past, but we think it's reported accurately. And then they've identified on page 2, relatively new, and I talked through this with you with the revenue bond issue that we did. What they've added is what can move the rating up and what can bring the rating down. And that's important for you to understand. What could change the rating and move you to that AA2, significant expansion and diversification of the city's tax base, growth, economy, new value being added, continued improvement in the reserve levels. Again, we spoke about that issue at detail with them. What could drive your rating down? Erosion of the city's tax base or weakening of the local economy, and then deterioration in the general fund levels. So those are really the high points, economy and reserves. When it comes to Moody's in this report, those are the two items they really focused on. So good news, here they affirm the AA3 rating. So if you go to page 5, where it says bid tabulation on top, this is the summary of the bids that were received. Very pleased that we ended up with 6 different bids. I was explaining earlier to Director Jurgis that 6 is more than we normally see. We're seeing, I came from a different community bond sale that we held also today. They had 2 bids only. What's different here, I think, is 2 things. The short term of this issue, it's not out 20 years. And then 2, that it's taxable. We don't see as much taxable debt in the market. We see a lot of tax exempt issues, but we really see a very few taxable issues. So it's a little bit different investment for these firms to be able to market to their clientele. So the winning bid on page 5, first page of the bid tabulation, was Robert W. Baird and Company. The interest rate, we shake our head a little bit. Not a little, we shake our head a lot. True interest rate of 2.3914%. So 10-year financing, taxable, not tax exempt, at 2.39%. We used to marvel at 2.39% for a tax exempt issue, and so we continue to see recovery in the bond market, and we're pretty amazed at where it's gotten to. You can see that Baird had quite a consortium that they worked with on this issue. It seems to be a consortium that's pretty consistent these days with them. We see many of the same names when they do win a bid. M&I Bank, yes, they're still out there bidding. And sometimes you see M&I, sometimes you see BMO, sometimes you see Harris Bank. They're all one and the same right now. But M&I Bank bid at 2.43%. And then if you flip the page, we also received bids from Bosque, that's, believe it or not, a bank in Oklahoma, UMB Bank, Bankers Bank, and Northland Securities, which are a lot of the names you've probably seen on these bids in the past. But if we flip back to the first page of that bid tab, you see the rates received of 0.45% in 12, 6.65% in 13, and it jumps up to about 3%. We were projecting rates that were about 100 basis points, or a full 1% more than that. As a result, this has a real positive impact on the financing. So those are the bids that were received. On page 7, a few other things happened. One is that some of the costs that came in quite a bit lower than what we had projected, specifically bond counsel and a discount I've described in the past as like a point in the mortgage. The underwriting firms bid that item along with the interest rate. As a result, you authorized a sale of $2,095,000, and that has been dropped to $2,080,000 because those costs came in less. They're issuing $15,000 less in debt. And then if you flip to pages 8 and 9, I'm just showing you and highlighting, it's circled in the yellow columns. I'm showing you the total interest to be paid. And if you flip from page 8 to 9, you can see we projected $351,000, ended up being about $260,000 in interest. So again, about $90,000 less in interest that you're going to be paying over the life of that issue. So where does that impact? That impacts obviously positively the cash flow in TIDs 5 and 6, because remember, a portion of this is for DFA, which is TID 5. A portion of this is related to Sargento, which is TID 6. And then the last piece of this is we're refinancing a state trust fund loan, which refinanced a few years back, actually in 2005, it refinanced the city's portion of the unfunded pension liability that was out at 8%. So the state was charging 8% annually on the unfunded pension portion. That was refinanced with the state trust fund loan at 5.25% back in 2005, and we're refinancing it now with a taxable issue. It has to be taxable, and we're refinancing it again. In working with Director Jurgis, what we decided, he directed us actually to do is to shorten up the life of this obligation. So if you look at page 10, you'll see that the obligation was to run out till 2024. Now it'll be paid off by 2021. The result of that is you actually are going to be paying a little more between now and 2021, but the debt will be paid off 3 years earlier. The good news is the rates came in again quite a bit less, and if you kind of flip from page 10, which is actual, and page 11, which was proposed, we expected a total savings of about $167,000 by doing this, and it ended up jumping up to about $217,000. So you're shortening up the debt by 3 years and paying it off quicker, and the impact is pretty manageable when you look at this. It's in 2012, you're paying an extra $1,500. We projected actually that it was going to end up being more like $13,000. So all in all, it really turned out very well, and we hope this is the last time we're refinancing this pension liability. I don't think we're going to be seeing rates much lower. So turned out very good.
Thank you very much, Bill. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the bond sale of $2,080,000 general obligation corporate purpose bond series 2011.
So moved, Alderman Riley. Second, Sedlacek.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Alderperson Jarvis, I didn't see you, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I know. The first time I didn't have my hand up. Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank Phil for doing this, and I also want to acknowledge Director Jurgis for, this is just an example of him looking creatively at trying to save money for the city of Plymouth, and he's done this on several other occasions. And I think that his year anniversary is coming up shortly. I'm not sure, but
Today.
okay, if it's today, I just want to say that we appreciated all the good work the past year. So.
Yeah.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, we got him to become a citizen. We just got to work on you. Any other comments? Alderman
I
Lottie.
would just echo Alder Jarvis's comments about our director and the fine work he's doing for us. Thank you.
Any other comments? Clerk will call the roll.
Hanson.
Yes.
Jarvis.
Yes.
Sedlacek.
Yes.
Lottie.
Yes.
Fernsler.
Yes.
Riley.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Motion carried. Thank you. Next item of business is item 8, award bid for Caroline Street parking lot project. ask Bill Emig to first give us a short summary on that, and then the chair will entertain a motion.
Sure. This is the, what I'm calling the Caroline Street parking lot. And we opened bids, received one bid from Northeast Asphalt for $24,734. I gave you a breakdown of the cost for the curb and gutter, the asphalt, and some sidewalking. City staff will be putting in some bricks and grass and the landscaping and some benches and whatnot. Once this is done, which may not be till spring, we'll kind of see how this all plays out. So I would recommend that to keep the project moving ahead, that we award it to Northeast Asphalt. Any questions?
The chair will entertain a motion to approve as indicated.
So moved. Second, Alder Anderson.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion or questions for Bill? Alderman Sizlacek.
This is coming from the money from the fire expansion. This money,
This is from the police fire bond expansion.
my question is does this money need to be paid this year? I thought we had to spend this money.
We have to basically encumber it.
Encumber
or
it? Okay.
Spend it by, is it the end of September? September 30th.
Okay. So even though the work's not going to be necessarily done,
Well, the paving's gonna be done.
the paving will be done
Right.
this year?
Parking lot will be built.
Oh, okay.
The bricks may not be getting.
Oh, okay.
may not be
Okay.
down
I
until
just-
spring. We'll buy the bricks
Sure.
today.
Yeah, so like,
Okay.
the final landscaping might not be finished, but sort of the bricks, stockpile them, and complete the project in spring if needed.
Any other comments? Clerk will call the roll.
Anderson.
Yes.
Riley.
Yes.
Lottie.
Yes.
Jarvis. Fowler.
Yes.
Fernsler.
Yes.
Sedlacek. Hanson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Next item, item 9, approve payment of Department of Workforce Development invoice in the amount of $1,532.66 from contingency funds. I'll ask Clerk Huberty or Director Jurgis to give us a brief summary on that,
Okay.
and then we'll entertain a motion.
Okay.
Director?
The reason why this is in front of you is because this is an unbudgeted expense that would have to come from contingency. Basically, the state of Wisconsin borrowed money from the federal government for unemployment benefits. Those benefits have been paid out to individuals, and the state of Wisconsin owes money to the federal government. The federal government began charging interest to those borrowed funds, and as a result, there's special assessments which are being sent out to businesses, including local government, and our portion is $1,532.66 for the general fund.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the special assessment for $1,532.66 and to pay that from the contingency funds.
So moved, Sedlacek.
Second, Alder Lottie.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Alderman Lottie?
Just have one question. This affects everyone who, including private enterprise? Does this affect
This is
them?
every business in the state of Wisconsin.
Every business,
Includes, tax
Public and
payrolls-
private.
Payrolls are greater than
25,000.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Fernsler.
Yes.
Riley.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Jarvis. Sedlacek.
Yes.
Lottie.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item 10, approve the purchase of 2011 Ford Transit Connect vehicle for Plymouth Utilities from Mike Burkhart Ford for the amount of $23,641. I'll ask John McKinnon to give us a brief summary on that, and then we'll entertain a motion.
Thank you. You have this evening before you a proposal to replace a 2000 Ford Windstar van for the electric metering department, and that vehicle has almost 150,000 miles on it. We sought proposals from 3 area vendors, Deers, and Mike Burkhart. We asked for proposals for either a new 2011 or a 2012, since we're going through a model change here. And underneath both 2011 and 2012 vehicles, Mike Burkhart was the lowest proposal, and with the 2011 being the lowest of all the proposals for $23,641.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion so we can discuss.
So moved. Anderson. Second, Sedlacek.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Alderman Fowler.
John, what is the weight of what you're going to haul in this van? The only reason I ask that the payload on it is 1,500 pounds, so 300.
It will not exceed 1,500 pounds. We haul anywhere from the residential meters up to the industrial size meters.
Just one other comment on it. I drive a van part-time for a courier that has manual locks, manual windows, and it's PITA. That's all I can say. If you're going to open windows, you're going to lock doors, I would suggest you get power windows and power locks. That's the manual that's said in the document.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments? Clerk will call the roll.
Lottie.
Yes.
Sedlacek.
Yes.
Jarvis. Hanson.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
Riley.
Abstain.
Fernsler.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item 11, Public Works and Utility Committee. Item A, approve engineering proposal for the North Milwaukee Street reconstruction project. I think I'll ask the chairperson of the Utility Public Works Committee to make a comment, and then we'll entertain a motion.
Thank you, Mayor. The Public Works and Utility Committee met this afternoon and unanimously approved a recommendation to the council to select Kapoor for the engineering design part of this reconstruction of North Milwaukee Street. It's 80% funded by the feds, and there's a 20% local match. The $26,000 for the design services is prescribed. We can't go out for bid for that, so instead the Director of Public Works goes out for a notice of interest. And there were 4 firms that were all adequate, and any one of them could have conducted these services. But based on a couple of factors, after the committee had done some review and the director's input, they decided to recommend Kapoor and Associates. With that, we ask for approval.
Thank you very much, Alderperson Jarvis. The chair will entertain a motion for approval so we can discuss.
So moved, Alderman Riley.
Second, Alderman Sedlacek.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
Fernsler.
Yes.
Riley.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Jarvis.
Yes.
Sedlacek.
Yes.
Lottie.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item 12, approve application for street use permit from the Plymouth Eagles Club, 127 North Street for bed races fundraiser on September 10th, 2011 from 1:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. for Main Street from the parking lot of Legion Arms East to the end of the street. This was previously approved by Chief Tauschek and Bill Immig. Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So move, Alder Lottie.
Second, Alder Anderson.
We have a first and a second. Do we have any discussion? Alderman Fernsler.
Are they gonna block off that driveway that goes into that hotel there?
Chief Tauschek?
No,
No, this is on Main,
Oh,
not
it's the other
north.
way, okay.
The other way,
Be in front of the
All
ice
right.
skating warm-up place.
going east and west. Any other comment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 13, approve application for street use permit from St. Paul's Episcopal Church, 312 East Main, to close Division Street along the east side of the church, north for 1/2 block from 11 o'clock a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. on Sunday, September 11th for 9/11 Responders Celebration. Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Alder Anderson.
Second, Alder Lottie.
We have a first and a second to approve the street use permit as described. Any discussion?
Mayor Pullman?
Clerk Huberty?
At the time the agenda was mailed, it was not yet signed by Chief Tauschek or Bill Emick, DPW, and they both signed that now, gave their approval on it.
So we can say previously approved by Chief Tauschek and Bill Emick. Okay, thank you. Did we have a first and a second?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Lost my train of thought for a second. Any other comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 14, accept resignation of Mary Ann Kretsch from the Committee on Aging. Chair will entertain a motion to accept said resignation.
So move, Alder Lottie.
Second, Alder Riley.
We have a first and a second to accept the resignation of Mary Ann Kretsch from the Committee on Aging. Any discussion? I would like to comment and thank Mary Ann Kretsch for her many years of service to the Committee on Aging and the community. It is something that I think we encourage our citizens to volunteer and be on committees, and we appreciate the service that they all do, and sometimes it is not convenient daytime, nighttime, but we certainly appreciate citizen input. With that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 15, approve 2011-12 tavern operator licenses as indicated, previously approved by Chief Tauschek and Deputy Chief Ringel. Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So move, Alder Lottie.
Second, Alder Sedlacek.
We have a first and a second to approve the tavern operator licenses listed. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 16, utility reports. We have the manager's report, August 2011. Item B, list of vouchers, July 2011. Authorized payment of July vouchers. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the list of vouchers for July 2011 and authorize payment of same.
So moved, Alder Anderson.
Second, Alder Riley.
We have a first and a second to approve the list of vouchers for July 2011 and authorize payment of same. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Lottie?
Yes.
Sedlacek?
Yes.
Jarvis? Hanson? Anderson?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Fernsler?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item C, income and balance sheet, July 2011. Item D, collection statement for July 2011. Item E, uncollectible accounts for August 2011.
Mayor Pullman?
Clerk Huberty.
Per the utilities manager, there are none for the month of August.
Thank you, that's correct. We're able to report that we have no uncollectible accounts for August 2011.
No, uncollectible.
Uncollectible. Did I say
We
that?
want to keep the lights on.
Keep the lights on. Very good, thank you. Item 17, other business. July reports acknowledged for filing, Department of Public Works. Item B, minutes acknowledged for filing, Community Television, July 18th. Park Board, August 8th. Committee on Aging, August 9th. Finance and Personnel Committee, August 9th. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second, Olalati.
We have a first and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We stand.